A playful life after 40 is not childish. It is brain care. It steadies mood, deepens relationships, and keeps your mind flexible in the face of change. Many adults carry long to-do lists and heavy roles. Joy can feel like something for later. Later rarely comes. Fun is a daily nutrient your mind needs now. Let us walk through an ordinary weekday and layer small moments of fun into it without adding chores. Adults' mornings run on habit, days disappear into tasks, and nights end with a couch and a screen. The goal is a lighter day that still gets things done. We will show exactly where daily joy fits, so mood lifts without pressure. If the thought of gentler, happier days speaks to you, hit that subscribe button. We will build a toolbox of simple joys that fit real life after 40. Before you change anything big, you start with a lens. You decide to treat fun as a form of daily care, the way you treat brushing your teeth. This small shift matters because the brain pays attention to what we name and schedule. When we mark joyful moments as care, we protect them. When we protect them, mood rises in a steady way. That is our promise today. Small, repeatable fun that feels real, not forced. Morning arrives and you resist the old script. You do not open a screen. You do not scan the news. Instead, you let a favorite song fill the kitchen while you make breakfast. You move to the rhythm for 2 songs while the pan heats, not as a workout, but as play. Your shoulders drop, your face softens. You smile without trying. This tiny dance adds energy without pressure. It says to your body that this day can feel lighter. Now you add a tiny creative moment. While the tea steeps, you sketch a simple scene you can see from the window. The lines are not perfect. That is the point. For 3 minutes, your brain moves from judging to making. Creative play is not about talent. It is about giving your mind a looser space where it can explore. After 3 minutes, the kettle clicks and the sketch goes on the fridge. That little drawing will catch your eye later and remind you that you are more than tasks. On your way out the door, you set a 6-word message to your future self. You write on a sticky note, "Try one new small thing today." This is your cue for novelty. The adult brain loves familiar paths, but it also wakes up with new sights, sounds, and choices. A fresh route, a new spice in a recipe, a different seat at a meeting, a song you have never heard before. Novelty keeps the mind learning. As you commute, you plan one micro-connection. You think of a friend you have not spoken with in months. At lunch, you will send a short voice note that says 3 things. "I thought of you. Here is one detail from today that made me smile." Tell me one small thing you are looking forward to this week. That is it. The aim is not a long call. The aim is a thread of real contact. Social warmth is a strong protector for mood in later life, and it does not need to be grand. But why do these small joys change mood after 40? Joy is not a luxury. It is one of the signals your brain uses to steer attention, energy, and connection. After 40, life often brings more responsibility, more loss, and less free time. That raises the risk of low mood and worry, and it can narrow your days until little feels rewarding. Small, intentional pleasures work because they do 3 things at once. First, they nudge you toward activity you find meaningful or pleasant, which reduces the avoidance and rumination that keep your mood down. Second, they strengthen social bonds, and warm contact helps nervous systems settle. Third, they shape a steadier daily rhythm so sleep improves, and sleep is one of the strongest stabilizers of mood. When you put these nudges into a normal day, you are teaching your brain to notice and repeat what lifts you. Over time, that becomes resilience, not a performance. Late morning brings the first tug back into old habits. You reach for your phone between tasks. Instead of scrolling, you open a short list you keep near your desk called Joy Menu. It has 5 doors that you can open anytime without a lot of time or money. The doors are music, movement, nature, creativity, and connection. You choose the nature door because the sun is kind today. You step outside for 3 minutes and look for one pattern in the world that you have not noticed before. The veins on a leaf, the way light falls on a wall, the shadow of a bird crossing the ground. Noticing like this is not childish. It trains attention to return to the present. Midday arrives and you add fun to a necessary task. You must prepare a report. You give yourself a gentle challenge that adds play without stealing time. You set a timer for 25 minutes, choose a calming playlist, and decide you will write a single clean paragraph before the bell. A game like this trims avoidance and turns work into a set of small wins. Each win carries a little spark that helps the mood later in the day. Lunch becomes a simple act of pleasure, not just fuel. You sit down instead of eating on your feet. You add one bright taste you enjoy. Maybe it is a crisp apple or a piece of dark chocolate. You chew slowly and name two flavors out loud. Attention heightens enjoyment. Enjoyment is allowed. After lunch, you send your voice note. You smile at how easy it is to connect when the ask is small. Your friend replies later with a brief laugh and a plan to swap two updates on Friday. The point is not to perform closeness. The point is to keep a real thread between two people. Mid-afternoon is your danger zone. Energy dips. Worry thoughts get louder. Old habits call again. This is where many people reach for another screen or another cup to push through. Today, you open the creativity door again for 3 minutes. You take a photo of a small object on your desk using a different angle each time. You are not chasing perfection. You are practicing seeing. You slip the best photo into a folder called Small Joys. These tiny collections become proof that good moments exist in ordinary days. Turn this into your joy map without making it a chore. You will build a joy map with 3 parts. First, pick your 5 doors, just like you did. Music, movement, nature, creativity, and connection are common doors, but you can rename them so they feel personal. Second, choose one small action under each door that you can do in under 5 minutes. Third, place 3 dots on your day where you will try one door. Morning, midday, and evening work well because they bookend the day without pressure. This is not a rigid plan. This is a light map that invites delight back into your schedule. Afternoon slips toward evening, and you turn a routine into a small celebration. You have to cook. You invite your son to choose the meal soundtrack. He picks an old song you both know. They sing along and mess up half the words. Laughter arrives. Where before there was only duty, now there is shared play. The food tastes better. The evening feels lighter. After dinner, you build a simple ritual that helps your sleep come on time without feeling like a rule. You choose a book of essays by a writer you enjoy. For 15 minutes, you read in a chair by a lamp. No screens, no pressure. You let yourself stop mid-paragraph, saving a line you liked for tomorrow. This small ritual tells your body that night is here. Calm routines like this tend to deepen rest over time. Before bed, you write one sentence. You keep a tiny notebook that says today's bright spot. You write, "Singing while we cooked made me feel lighter." This is not a journal. This is one line that captures a real moment. Over weeks, these lines become a map of what gives your life. When a flat day arrives, you read 10 lines back to remember that joy is possible even on heavy days. Your day ends with a quiet smile. You did not overhaul your life. You did not add a long list of tasks. You invited small fun into places that already existed. You made room for music, connection, and noticing. You added a scrap of creativity. You honored wind down without punishment. You did less forcing and more allowing. This is how fun becomes a habit after 40. Now, let us build your joy map together. Take a moment to choose your 5 doors. You can keep your list or make your own. Some people choose animals, gardening, crafting, cooking, and reading. Others choose comedy, photography, languages, or learning an instrument. There is no right list. The right list is the one that moves your mood upward when you give it a few minutes. Once you choose your doors, make one tiny action under each. You might choose 2 songs of free dancing, a 1-minute doodle, a 3-minute voice note to a friend, a 2-minute lap around the block to look for color, or 10 deep breaths while you listen to a song you love. Seal the map with 3 dots on your day. 1 dot belongs in the morning. 1 dot belongs around lunch. 1 dot belongs during the evening wind down. Each dot is a place where you try one tiny action under any door. The choice can change day to day. The dots do not ask for perfection. They ask for noticing. When a dot lights up with a small joy, mood often carries forward into the next hour. And here are 5 fresh ways to make fun feel natural when you have not felt playful in years. First, borrow the enthusiasm of another person. Spend 5 minutes asking a friend to show you something they enjoy and then try a small version of it. Enthusiasm is contagious, and it can wake up your own curiosity. Second, use smell as a shortcut to memory. A new herb in your tea or a familiar scent in a candle can take you back to lighter places inside yourself. Third, create a tiny tradition with someone in your home. It could be a weekly song on a certain night or a silly handshake when you meet in the kitchen. Fourth, learn one thing out loud. Say the new word in a language you hope to learn, or say the bird name you just looked up. Hearing yourself learn reinforces the joy of progress. Fifth, choose a small rule for screens that makes room for fun. For example, no screens during the first song in the kitchen, or the phone goes on a shelf during the evening essay. This is not perfection. This is a small fence that protects what matters. When a low spell needs more than habits, act early. If sadness or loss of interest has persisted most days for 2 weeks or more, or if you have thoughts of harming yourself, seek care now. A simple way to start is to ask yourself 2 questions. Do I feel low most days? Have I lost interest in things I used to enjoy? If the answer is yes, speak with a clinician. Effective non-drug options include talking therapies that teach practical skills such as problem solving and activity scheduling. Medicines can also help when symptoms are moderate to severe. If you are ever worried about your safety, treat that as urgent and ask for help the same day. Now, a word for those who feel silly when they try to play. Many adults were taught that fun is for children and work is for grown-ups. That belief drains color from decades of life. Permit yourself to look a little foolish in the service of a lighter heart. The first time may feel awkward. The second time feels less so. By the third time, you will usually find a smile arriving sooner. Obstacles will show up, so here are gentle ways through. When time is tight, clip your action to a task you already do. Sing while you cook. Listen to a song while you fold laundry. Doodle while the coffee drips. When energy is low, choose the smallest action that still feels like fun. A single verse of a song, 1 line drawn, 1 photo. When people around you resist, invite them without pressure and let their curiosity grow on its own. When a day goes sideways and you miss every dot on your map, simply light 1 small joy the next day and keep going. The goal is a trend, not a streak. Let us zoom back into your week to show how this scales without repeating. On Monday, your dots were a kitchen song, a 3-minute step outside to look for patterns, and an evening essay. On Tuesday, you swapped the song for a 5-minute slideshow of old family photos that made everyone laugh. On Wednesday, you texted a neighbor to ask for 3 street food recommendations and then tried one that night. On Thursday, you took a free online class for 15 minutes on how to tell a better story and practiced on the phone with a friend. On Friday, you returned to the 2-song kitchen dance and added a new song that your son chose. On Saturday and Sunday, you made a small plan that counted as your novelty door. You chose a different route for the usual errands and stopped to look at a mural you had ignored for years. Notice how none of these moves needed a gym, a long drive, or an empty calendar. They were tiny, fit into your life, and created little waves of relief. When you string enough little waves together, the tide inside you shifts. Because the brain loves games, build one more playful tool to keep it easy when you feel tired. Create a card deck of small joys. On a sheet of paper, write 10 actions you enjoy. Cut them in 2 cards, shuffle and draw one when your energy dips. You can include a wild card that says ask a friend for a joyful idea and try it now. A deck like this removes decision fatigue when you are tired and keeps a fun feeling like discovery. Halfway through the experiment, you will likely notice a few quiet shifts. Decision-making feels easier because you are practicing choosing. Mood feels more stable because you are catching small good moments in real time. Sleep may begin to ease because your evenings have a calm shape to them. Conversation feels more alive because you are sharing specifics instead of general complaints. These are signs that play is doing its job. Let us weave in purpose without making it heavy. Joy and meaning are close relatives. Once a week, add 1 act of service that fits your energy. It can be a short note of thanks to someone who helped you, a small favor for a neighbor, or a tiny cleanup of a shared space. Helping on a manageable scale raises mood for many people, especially after 40, because it reminds you that you can make a difference in the life you already have. Now, a brief note about alcohol and mood. Some people lean on a drink at night to soften stress. While that can feel fun in the moment, it often steals from sleep and makes the next day heavier. If you want evenings that feel light, try a different ritual for a week. Make sparkling water with a slice of citrus, brew a calming tea. Put on a song you love and breathe with it for 3 minutes. See how your nights and mornings feel with that change. There is room here for people who live with chronic conditions too. If pain or mobility limits are part of your life, you can still build a joy map. Choose doors that fit your body today. Music, story, scent, art, connection, pets. Invite laughter in ways that do not increase pain. Ask loved ones to share their small joys and borrow them. Many people find that their mood softens when the mind has pleasant things to hold, even when the body has limits. If you care for an older parent or a partner, bring them into this gently. Invite them to choose 1 door for this evening. Place a favorite song during dinner. Pull out an old photo album and tell two stories. Put a fresh flower on the table and notice its color together. Shared fun reduces the sense of burden and can open kinder conversations about care. Children and grandchildren can help adults rediscover play. Ask a child to teach you a short game they love. Let them lead for 5 minutes. Follow their rules. Laugh when the rules change mid-game. This is not about winning. This is about learning how to let go for a moment. Adults often forget how to follow a child's joy. It is a clean way to relearn to play with no judgment. Now, let us close this loop. 3 weeks in, you still have meetings and errands. Life did not get smaller. You did not move to a beach. But you notice that your shoulders are not always high and tight. You laugh out loud more often. You look forward to the evening essay and sometimes read it to your son. You speak to your friend more regularly. When a hard day arrives, you draw 2 lines in your tiny notebook and write, "Nothing went my way, but I sang in the kitchen, and that helped." That is a win. That is a proof point. This is the work of building a joyful life after 40. I would like to hear what made you smile today. In the comments, write one sentence that begins with "today's bright spot was" and finish it. Reading these lines helps others see what is possible in ordinary days. Your line may be the nudge someone needs tonight. If this felt like the kind of care you want more of, subscribe so you receive one small, useful step each day. We will build a library of gentle tools for stronger moods, kinder evenings, and steadier days. Let us bring back fun on purpose, not as an afterthought.